Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and we've got Blood Bowl news, but this is unofficial Blood Bowl news. So there are rumours, there have been rumours about an Almanac dropping. We saw Chaos Dwarfs and Gnomes this year, and we haven't had an Almanac since Vampires, so there were rumours that this was coming anyway. And we've kind of just been sitting on it, waiting for more information. There have been, so this is old school, there have been some actual photos, some leaks of a couple of star players that are going to be featured in the Almanac. Now, for those of you that want to hold fast and don't want to see any leaks, switch the video off now. But for the rest of you, we're going to dive into the 2 star players. But before we do that, the Almanac. The leaks that we've seen for the Almanac cover the 3 teams that have been released and some rules for the Chaos Cup. Apparently there's about 10 pages of rules for running a Chaos Cup League, Chaos Cup tournament. That's one of my favourite things from the Spike magazines, is having those extra league rules and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to delve into that when it drops. But there's also some star players. Now, one of the interesting things about the Gnome team when it dropped is there was only 2 star players in it. Okay, you had Acorn, the squirrel, but there was only Rodney Roachbait and Romana Forestfoot, right? Or Lightfoot, can't remember what it's called. The deer star player. There were only 2 new star players. We expected more. Like, every team gets 3 new star players, right? So Gnomes felt like there was something a little bit missing. There are 2 star players that have been leaked out now. So if you're on the Facebook community, you would have seen that there. If you're in our Discord, you probably would have seen it there too. But if you haven't, we're going to have a look. And if you have, we're going to have a look and we're going to have a talk through. Okay, so first up is Maple Highgrove. Now, I'm pretty sure Maple Highgrove featured in the Wood Elf stuff, maybe in the 2016 edition. Like, I'm pretty sure Maple Highgrove is something that is a star player that's been around before. The idea, I think, yeah, the tree player with tentacles definitely featured it. I think must have been the Wood Elf Spike, like back in the last edition. So Maple Highgrove, let's have a look at the stats for this player. Movement 3, very fast for a tree man. Strength 5, kind of weak for a tree man. Edge 5+, passing 5+. Armor 11+, fair enough. 210k for a strength 5 star player is pretty decent. Okay, star player skills. Brawler, Grab, Loner 4+, Mighty Blow +1, Stand Firm, Tentacles, Thick Skull. So Thick Skull, Stand Firm, Mighty Blow, Loner. Okay, all kind of what you expect from trees. Not sure if the standard treeman has got Thick Skull, actually. I assume it has because it's armored like a billion. Anyway, let's grab the spike here. So having Brawler and Tentacles is kind of cool. It means that, I say, it's not a direct combination, but it is going to allow... It's just, yeah, you're just going to be able to do that. Yeah, treemen do have Thick Skull. I think I've ever broken armor on a tree. So when it comes to Maple Highgrove, Strength 5 Brawler. Look, I'm a Black Orc coach, or a Skaven coach really, but you know, I like to moonlight as a tough guy with my Black Orcs, and Brawler is pretty great in that. Strength 5 Brawler for a star player. It's going to be a 2 and a bit die block most of the time, and Brawler is going to be helpful to keep you standing. It is not a defensive skill, so that's a bit subpar. Strength 5 though is a pretty decent skill by itself. Just the fact you are a chunky boy is pretty useful. Grab and Brawler is a wonderful combination that works for Black Orcs anyway, so that's one thing that works really, really well. So basically, you're going to put this guy on the line, and you're just going to be able to take a couple of 2, maybe 3 die blocks. With Brawler, that becomes really effective. You've got Mighty Blow, which is great. The key piece here, though, is that your movement 3, which means you will be able to get up without having to sort of be an issue. This player does not have Take Root. So this is the fastest tree man in the West. Yeah, you've lost a bit of strength, but you've got a combat skill, and you've got Grab, and you've got Tentacles to kind of help manage that line of scrimmage. If this piece is on the pitch with a guard player or 2, you are going to be able to make some very effective and reasonably safe blocks. And Mighty Blow is going to mean you'll be able to remove a couple of pieces as well. Right, plays for Halfling Thimble Cup, Elven Kingdoms League, or Old World Classic. Dude, this guy is playing for absolutely everybody. Like, just the Chaos teams that don't get him. Just the Chaos teams, everybody else does. That is... I mean, I'm fine with that. So at 210k, you get Strength 5 Brawler Grab Tentacles piece with Movement 3. So no downside, no Negatrait, no Bonehead, no Really Stupid, no Take Root. This guy's wicked at 210. You get a decent strength 5 piece. He's not a Zug, okay, who is, what, 200k, 220 for something for strength 5 block, so he's just better, but this is not bad. Halfling Thimblecut means you've got halflings, you've got gnomes, so they can take another treeman. You've got the deep root angle. You've got Maple here, who won't be a super mega star player, which is going to benefit as well. We're going to need to add this to the pack for Beachhead, and won't be a mega star, so that's good. Elven Kingdoms, look, it's good for elves to get a bit of punch. They've got the Zote already at 240, 250, so having some muscle for a little cheaper is good. Strength 5, armor 11 with thick skull. He's going to be very resilient on the front line. Stand firm is going to mean you're going to kind of be able to control where he wants to be. Grab and tentacles means you're going to be able to control who you put him up against. So could be really useful for a high elf team, for an elf team actually. Old world classic, dude. There's just too many teams here to consider who needs a cheap-ish strength 5 player. It's really difficult because Zug gives you more mobility for the same kind of price, but this is very takeable. Right, special skill time. Vicious Vines. Once per half, when Maple declares a block action, he may do so against an opposition player who is 2 squares away, following all the normal rules for making a block, though he may not follow up. This block action cannot be part as a blitz action. All right, okay. So, what does that mean? We got the pitch. So basically, he can block once per half. He can make a block against somebody who is 2 squares away, not just 1 square, 2 square. My immediate FAQ, and I'm assuming this is going to how it's work, is your assists still count. So if you've got him next to an opposing player, your target player is next to a friendly player, you get an assist, they get an assist, he's still strength 5. And you can use Brawler, and you can use Grab. You can use Grab at 2 squares away, which is really interesting. Okay, so I really like that. Can't use it as a blitz, so you can't just sort of reach over and knock somebody over in a cage. The idea here, right, is that Maple Highgrove is a young and willowy tree, like you know, Lord of the Rings, 2 towers. You got the Ents, they all march on Isengard, and you've got the different ones. This is the tall, willowy one. He's got reach. He's got reach. This is the tree reach over attack. Once per half. That's really cool. That is really cool. The fact he's got tentacles and stand firm and grab means you're going to be able to kind of control a little bit of what's going on, which means you might, I'm not saying you're going to be able to set up much, but you are going to have, there's going to be percentage points there where you can use those skill combinations to get yourself into a better position. And the fact is, if you can put him then on a sideline, there is going to be no safe place for your opponent, like, because he's going to have that extra square of reach. So side cages, like up against Maple Highgrove, will be a disaster. Can't use it as a blitz. Right, for 210k, I think that is infinitely playable. It's not an auto pick, but we will see Maple taken, because actually the standard package there of like a strength 5 Black Orc with tentacles is really cool. And his range block is going to be really effective too. So I like this. This is an interesting star player. And then we've got Swiftfine Glimmershard with some of the scariest Blood Bowl artwork I've seen for quite a while now. We saw her in the Wood Elf bike as well. So they're bringing these ones back. I think it might have been the same art. I don't know, actually, the art's got creepier. All right, Swiftfine Glimmershard. Moving 7, strength 2. Edge 3+, passing 5+, armor 7+. So very vulnerable. Strength 2, armor 7+, is weaker than a gutter. That is stronger than a fox. So somewhere in between. Movement 7 is fast. Edge 3+ is okay. Let's check out the skills. That is a chunky special rule there. Like, that is a serious thing. So Disturbing Presence, Fend, Loner, Sidestep, Stab, and Stunty can play for elves or Halfling Thimblecut. All right, 110k for a movement 7, strength 2, edge 3+ piece. Doesn't have dodge, does have stunty, so it's 3+ anywhere, but you don't get the integral reroll to kind of make it super worth it. Fend, don't care. Sidestep, I mean, sidestep, fend is okay. The fact this player's got disturbing presence and stab, those are kind of what you're picking up for before we look at the special power. So disturbing presence is going to affect your ball handling skills within 3 squares. The fact this player's got sidestep and movement 7 means you're going to be able to move them around. Fend's going to mean that they stay alive, they stay disengaged if they stay alive. Stab, dude, stab is a risky skill, and I do not like it on a player that is strength 2, armor 7 with no combat skills, no evasion, no dodge to keep them alive, no block, no wrestle, no nothing. This is just, I'm going to try and stab you, and then if it works, cool. If it doesn't work, you are going to probably 2 to 3 die block me, and if you do, I can choose where I die on sidestep, and I can stop you following up, but at armor 7+, I am dead. That is a 56% chance of just death. Right, the special rule though is the interesting factor here. Furious Outburst, once per half, so long as she is standing at the start of her activation. Right, we're going to read it all the way through, then we'll break it down. Swift Vine can place herself adjacent to a standing once per half. So long as she is standing at the start of her activation, Swift Vine can place herself adjacent to a standing opposition player within 3 squares of her and immediately make a stab special action against them. She may then place herself in an unoccupied square within 3 squares of her new position. Her activation then immediately ends. This counts as the team's blitz action for the turn. So once per half, when you activate Swiftbine, assuming she's not prone, if she's standing, you can use your team's blitz action to teleport 3 squares, stab a guy, and then teleport another 3 squares. Now, it doesn't say they have to return back. It says she just goes into an unoccupied square. So unoccupied, doesn't say about being marked. So you just bam. This is full on Nightcrawler. This is bam. I appear, I attack, and then I leave again immediately. That does make me feel better about the stab because that's wicked. At a range of 3, you can just automatically apparate into a cage, have a stab at the ball carrier, and then apparate onto the side of the cage to set up another block or just aggravation. That's really, really, really cool. Once per half, she's going to be able to do that, and it's going to be a ranged stab. Now, this Swiftfind is going to be one of the star players that when your opponent drops them on the pitch, you have one choice. And that choice is to immediately kill her, basically, because if she stays on the pitch, she's just going to stick around, and once per half, she's going to do something. She's going to have a chance to do something great. This is going to give you some of the most swingy results, I think, that we've seen. Like when Thorsten Stoutmead was revealed, it was like, whoa, you're going to throw a barrel? No one uses Thorsten. Like, sometimes it works. Swiftfine is going to be exactly the same. Your opponent deploys Swiftfine. You get a good blitz. She's armor 7+. Take it. She's 110k. If elves, halflings, gnomes are using it, right. If elves are using her, this is a quick way to take out a player. Strength 2, armor 7+ with no dodge is just such an easy target. Any blitzer is going to swoop in here and have a really effective 2-die block and stun or worse really quickly. She's stunty as well, so it means you're kind of like removing this player very, very, very easily. If not, on defense, she's going to get to stab the ball carrier in a cage. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. There are ways to manage it, but this is what's going to happen. You will remember those games where you're running Swiftbine and you get a chance to bamf in, stab the ball carrier, stab a stop, just stab something and then flee away. So that's going to give you a really, not really good. It's going to, I mean, what? Ball carriers, let's assume they're armor 8+. That's a 40-something% chance. So you can bamf, if she's in range, you've got a 4 out of 10 chance of actually stunning and dropping the ball. That's not bad. Like, that's not bad. It's kind of on a 5+, the ball pops out at a range and she gets to kind of redeploy. So there's going to be some real cool advantage to that. Sometimes she's just going to be out of range, and sometimes, most of the time, she's just going to die really quickly, which I think means that actually this is one of those star players where it's like, this is awesome if it works. If it doesn't work, you're going to be like, eh. You know what, if you're running her in a 3-game tournament or a 5-game tournament, one of the games over the course of the weekends, she's going to do the thing that you want her to do. Now, there is also the ability here that if she's got the ball, and Edge 3+ is okay, you can just, you don't have to dodge, you just apparate, stab someone, and then move along again. So that's also kind of like an auto score with the opportunity at the stab. That's the glory run. Swiftfine gets the ball and you just get her to the point where she can score, and she just does a drive-by stabbing on the way to the end zone. That's the achievement unlocked. That's the Swiftfine Glimmer Shard achievement. Yeah, that's cool. Very, very, very interesting. All right, so I have no doubt that we're going to see more information about the Almanac. In fact, I believe, I can't remember what Tripp said. We've had, like, I don't think it's going on this Sunday's preview. I think it'll be the one after. I could be wrong about that because it's the middle of December. I've got no idea what's going on anymore. So it's an interesting one. Two very cool star players, like really cool. Swiftfine's going to be interesting when she works. It's going to be fantastic. When it doesn't, you're not going to care too much. And the old Tree Boy is just a really interesting other bruiser of a star player. The one thing I will say is that both of these I think are really well suited for like gnomes and halflings, where you've got 500k for a game and you can run a couple of star players. You take Deeproot or Zug or whoever you want to run as your main star, or Grve or something. And then if you are able to take a second star because you've got cash, 110 Swiftfine is really useful, or you can use your Strength 5 Tree Man to then free up some more cash to take an interesting second star player like Rodney Roachbait or Swiftfine Glimmer Shard. They're just a couple of, I think, interesting star players. Swiftfine, if she had dodge and stuff like that, she would be top tier, I think, would be dangerous. But the fact that there's no dodge there means that she's just going to fall. You can't dodge with her because she'll die, and you can't get punched with her because she'll die. So that's really interesting. I think they've done a good job of keeping that reasonable. I'm really cool. I'm really excited for this. Love to see that they're doing some more Blood Bowl stuff. Love to see that they're dropping an Almanac. But yes, I'm going to wrap up. Let me know your thoughts on the 2-star players and the fact we're getting an Almanac, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.